Did you ever realize your marriage was over because a teenager said one sentence, and your spouse stayed silent? That moment happened to me on a Tuesday night. Ordinary, quiet, almost boring, until it wasn't. I was standing in the kitchen, still in my work clothes, when my stepson, Tyler, leaned back in his chair and smirked. Not joking, not emotional, calm, confident. "This is my house now." I laughed at first, a reflex, the kind you do when something is so absurd your brain rejects it. I looked at my wife, Laura, waiting for her to shut it down, to correct him, to defend me. She didn't. She just kept stirring the pot on the stove. Wooden spoon scraping metal. Slow, deliberate. That silence landed harder than the words. I'd helped buy that house, paid the mortgage, fixed the leaks, painted the walls, built a life inside it. And suddenly, in one sentence, I was a guest. Or worse, placeholder. Have you ever felt replaced while you were still standing there? That night, I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't storm out. I went upstairs, sat on the edge of the bed, and realized something terrifyingly clear. The marriage I thought I had? It was already gone. And what I decided to do before sunrise would make sure they understood exactly what they'd done. What do you do when you realize you've been living in someone else's version of your own life? I started replaying the past year in my head like a security tape. Every argument I swallowed. Every time Tyler pushed boundaries and Laura brushed it off. Every joke about me being temporary. I told myself it was stress.
Teen Angst.
Growing pains. It wasn't. It was a slow eviction. Tyler hadn't always been this bold. When I first married Laura, he was distant but manageable. Headphones in. Door closed. But something shifted after his 18th birthday. The rules softened. His confidence grew sharp edges. And Laura stopped correcting him altogether. That night, I lay awake listening to the house breathe. The hum of the fridge. The tick of the hallway clock. Laura sleeping beside me like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't just watched our marriage get erased at the dinner table. I asked myself a question that hurt more than any insult. If I disappeared tomorrow, would anything here actually change? Around 3 a.m., I got up quietly. No lights. No noise. I walked through the rooms I thought were mine. The living room couch I paid off. The garage shelves I built. The front door I'd unlocked every day for years. I wasn't angry anymore. I was done. And that's when I made a decision that felt small in the moment, but would completely blindside them when morning came. Because while they were sleeping peacefully, convinced they'd won, I was preparing to leave in a way they never saw coming. Have you ever noticed how powerful silence feels when you finally stop begging to be heard? By 4 a.m., I wasn't pacing anymore. I was methodical, calm in a way that scared even me. I pulled my phone out and started opening apps I hadn't thought twice about in years. Mortgage, utilities, internet, streaming services, insurance. One by one. Click, confirm, done. Every payment I was responsible for, gone. This wasn't revenge. It was accuracy. The house wasn't legally mine alone, but the financial scaffolding holding it upright, that was me. And for the first time, I stopped pretending that contribution didn't matter. I packed only what was unquestionably mine. Clothes, documents, my father's watch. The laptop Tyler used for gaming? Stayed. The couch? Stayed. I wasn't trying to prove anything. I was reclaiming myself. As the sky began to lighten, I paused at the front door. I looked back down the hallway toward Tyler's room, toward the bedroom where Laura slept, unaware her quiet choice had finally spoken louder than words. I didn't feel guilt. I felt clarity. I locked the door behind me and drove away just as the sun crested the horizon. No note. No explanation. Just absence. Because sometimes the loudest message you can send is letting people wake up to a life that suddenly no longer works the way they assumed it always would. And when they realized what had changed, that's when everything truly exploded. Have you ever been woken up by a reality you didn't know you were standing on? My phone started vibrating around 7:12 a.m. I didn't answer it. Then again, and again. Missed calls stacked up like dominoes falling in fast forward. Laura. Unknown numbers. Then Tyler. I imagined the scene without being there. Lights flipping on. Coffee machine dead. Internet not connecting. The garage door refusing to open. Confusion turning to irritation. Irritation sliding into panic. By the fourth voicemail, Laura's voice had changed. The calm was gone. She wasn't asking where I was anymore. She was asking what I'd done. Isn't it strange how people don't notice your presence until it's gone? I checked into a small hotel across town and sat on the edge of the bed, fully dressed, listening to her messages play out of order. Accusations. Please. Then anger. Tyler's message was last. Short. Sharp. No confidence this time. Just disbelief. You can't do this. But I already had. What they didn't understand yet was that I hadn't just left the house. I'd stepped out of a role they were counting on without my consent. Provider. Buffer. Punching bag. And the locks? Those were being changed right then. Because before they could decide how to respond, before they could spin the story or shift the blame, they were about to discover I'd taken one final step that would force them to face the consequences of their certainty. Have you ever realized that walking away isn't losing? It's choosing not to disappear? By noon, I got the confirmation text. Locks changed. Access removed. Finalized. I sat there longer than I needed to, staring at the screen, feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Relief. Laura finally reached me late that afternoon. Her voice wasn't angry anymore. It was shaken. She said Tyler was just a kid, that he didn't mean it, that families say things they don't mean. But here's the truth no one likes admitting. What people say when they feel powerful is exactly what they mean. I told her I wasn't coming back. Not to explain. Not to negotiate. Not to compete with her son for a place in my own marriage. I wished her well and meant it. Then I hung up. That night, alone in a quiet room, I slept better than I had in years. Because I finally understood something simple and brutal. Love doesn't ask you to shrink. Respect doesn't require permission. And a home is only yours if the people inside it want you there. If the story hit close to home, ask yourself one question tonight. Where in your life are you still standing in a place that already decided you don't belong?